All right, so let's start. And let's bring our feet to the top of the mat. I'm just adjusting that for them. And let's separate them a little more than you normally would. Whatever your standing space is, just make it a few inches bigger. And it won't really matter, it's just a little kind of drill thing. Just bring your hands to prayer. Take a deep inhale. And on your exhale, just press down into your feet a little bit more. Inhale again. And notice how your shoulders are over your hips. Exhale again. Inhale. Bring your belly button in toward your spine. And exhale, just lower your arms, open your eyes if they were closed, and we're just going to shift our weight into the balls of the feet and try to lift the heels off the ground. And then we'll just gently let the heels come down again. So all we're doing is shifting the weight forward, maybe 5 inches, or it depends on how long your foot is, but just forward to the balls of the feet and then back onto the heels. And the breath pattern doesn't matter for right now. It's just shifting the weight. And I just want you to feel that your shoulders are going with you. They're going with your hips. And your belly has to keep drawing in so that you don't end up in some kind of weird back bend. This is sometimes, have a little look-see at your screen. Sometimes this happens and we don't take it all with us. So 2 more times, take it all with you. The shoulders, the head, the belly. So that you stay stacked. Because that's what you need to do in something like Pincha Mayurasana, which will come later. Okay, let's bring the feet together again and just put that in the back of your mind. Hands together, inhale. And exhale, arms by your sides. Inhale, reach up, look up at the thumbs. Exhale, fold forward. You can bend the knees if you want. Inhale, just halfway up. Send the left foot back to a lunge. Straighten the right leg. And rebend the right leg. Back foot forward, inhale. And fold, exhale. Halfway up, inhale. Right foot back, exhale. So we're just in a lunge. Straighten the left leg, inhale. Rebend it, exhale. Back foot forward, inhale. And fold, exhale. Just halfway up, inhale. And step into plank, exhale. Just lift the right leg off the ground a few inches. And then lower it down, normal plank. Left leg off the ground a few inches. And lower it down. 1 more time each leg. Try to minimize the back bend. So when you're lifting the leg, don't just stick your butt up. Keep lifting your belly and your waistline up. And the next time your left foot is back into a plank position, exhale to chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. And exhale, downward facing. And we'll just hang out here and breathe and practice engaging the quadriceps. Two more breaths. And after your exhale, step or jump forward. Inhale when you get there. And fold, exhale. Rise all the way up, inhale. And we're just going to fold again for the exhale. Belly in, halfway up for the inhale. Left foot back, lunge, exhale. Simple twist, right arm up, inhale. Untwist for the exhale. Back foot forward, inhale. Propel your chest forward. Right foot back. Exhale. So we're just in a lunge, other side. Simple twist, left arm up. Inhale. Untwist, exhale. Back foot forward, propel your chest forward. Exhale, head towards shin bones. Inhale, halfway up. And we'll meet in plank. If you have any wrist issues, just make it a forearm plank. You'll still get the core benefit of a plank. So we'll lift the right leg a few inches and touch your knee to your right elbow. And you'll notice then your back is rounded, so you don't really have to think so much about belly in. It's just gonna happen. Release the right leg back, lift the left leg, and bring that knee to the left elbow. If you're on your forearms, it'll just be in by the tricep, or however close you can get it. Step to plank, inhale. Chaturanga, exhale. Upward facing, inhale. Downward facing, exhale. So we already have our quadriceps behaving because we focused on them last time. So now draw your belly in and focus on that hollowing feeling, which will happen automatically, but you can sort of exaggerate it. I'm just going to check in and see if anyone joined late because I like to know who's here. Oh, Demony's here. Good. Okie doke. So that belly drawing in is going to help you with the jumping forward. If you have any back issues, just step forward and don't worry about that right now. Otherwise, heels up high. Bend the knees, a little rounding of your back. Look forward and jump. Inhale when you get there. And fold, exhale. Rise all the way up, belly in. Inhale. Fold again, exhale. Halfway up, chest forward, inhale. Left foot back, lunge, exhale. High lunge, inhale, arms up. And we're gonna step the back foot forward again, inhale. Just like you did before, right foot back, exhale. Reach up, inhale. Then we'll lower the fingers and propel ourselves forward, exhale. Inhale when you get there. Fold, head towards shin bones. Halfway up, lengthen, and we'll meet in plank. If you're struggling with plank for any reason, you could also put your knees on the floor. If you can, right leg up, knee to the left elbow. So there's a little twist, and you'll find your obliques real quick. Three-legged dog, right leg to the ceiling. And just regular downward dog, exhale. Rock forward to plank again, inhale. Lift the left leg. Draw the knee to the right elbow, as high up as you can. So if it's down by the wrist, that's fine, but think about scooching it up a little higher. Three-legged dog, inhale. And downward dog, exhale. We'll stay here. Strong legs, belly in. And now focus on your shoulders, rolling away from your ears. You'll feel like your shoulder blades are moving apart and they're settling a little bit more on your back. And after your exhale, step or jump feet to hands. Inhale when you get there. Fold, exhale. Rise up, inhale. This time, keep the arms up, but bend the knees. Exhale. And we'll stay here in Utkatasana. I'm just going to back up because I know that at some point there is a limit to the camera scope. Let's just bring either hands to prayer or hands to hips or somewhere a little bit closer to your body than a full extension. We're just going to shift our weight into the balls of the feet. And draw your belly in. And keep your shoulders pretty much over your hips so that you don't fall back or lean forward too far and fall forward. And lower your heels down again. Settle the weight into the heels like you would in a regular Utkatasana. And then just try it one more time, shifting the weight forward. You really have to think about where your hips are in relation to your shoulders. And where are your ears in relation to your shoulders. And lower the heels down again. Straight legs, arms up. Inhale. And we'll fold forward. Exhale. Halfway up. Inhale. And let's meet in plank. And we'll stay here and breathe. Let's bring the legs all the way together. And we'll just lift the right on top of the left. So the big toe, second toe are just going to cradle the Achilles of the left foot. So it's really now just right foot pressing down into left foot. And it's a little bit easier then to keep the hips up. And then you can draw your belly in more. And switch legs. So the left big toe, second toe will just go on either side of the Achilles. And the ball of the left foot is pretty much pressing down into the heel of the right foot. Belly in as best you can. This can also be done on the forearms. And we'll lower that left foot down. Exhale to chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Either straight arms or on the forearms. And those of you going to the forearms, have a little look-see real quick at your screen. Instead of letting the elbows do this, as you bend them, you're going to move them in so that they land where you want. Because if they land out there, it's really hard to redo it. It's better to just get it right from the first minute that you are attempting it. So you roll the shoulders out away from your ears in order to squeeze the elbows in. Just a few more breaths. Press your fingers into the floor. So we'll keep pushing our fingers into the floor. That's going to make our chest move closer to the legs. Then you can get your elbows light on the ground, and eventually they're going to straighten. Purely by pushing your chest toward your legs, you will get your elbows off the ground. And after your exhale, step or jump. Inhale there, and fold, exhale. Bend into the knees, inhale. And let's twist to the right. Hook your left elbow. I have to undo the hands to get a deeper twist, and then just put the hands together again. We'll look up over that right shoulder. Take a breath. Press your right shoulder back. And keep everything there. Just look down and step back with the left foot. So we end up just in a twisted lunge. Nothing crazy. Look up again if you can. And we'll untwist fingertips down and make a choice, back knee up or down. We're just going to straighten the right leg for an inhale and bend it again for an exhale. We'll just do that 2 more times. If you have your back knee down, it's just going in and out of your half split to your Asana. But either way, you're nudging into your right hamstring. And after that 3rd time, place the hands, step back, vinyasa. You can always skip vinyasas if you're having any wrist, elbow, or shoulder issues. So the jumping forward and back is another aspect of where we have to take all of the pieces with us. So what tends to happen is we want to jump forward, but we're not really committed because we're scared. So bring your shoulders way far forward so that your feet can get there. Heels up high, inhale. Bend the knees, exhale, look past your fingers and jump. Inhale, your shoulders are in front of your feet. Exhale. Bend into the knees, inhale. Utkatasana. Into a twist with the right arm outside of that left leg. I'm just going to spin around. So take your time getting the hook, because that's what you have to kind of live with for the next 45 seconds or so. Left shoulder back. See the ceiling right above you. And look down. Keep your left knee pressing into your arm so that you can step back without losing balance. And untwist. Or not untwist, sorry, twist deeper. Exactly the opposite of what I meant to say. Okay, now untwist. Fingertips down, we'll straighten the left leg, inhale, and bend it, exhale. Your choice if the back knee is up or down. Inhale, as straight as you can get it. Exhale, bend. One more time. Inhale, and exhale. Palms flat, step back, inhale, and chaturanga, exhale. Upward facing, inhale, downward facing, exhale. Let's come to hands and knees for a moment. I'm gonna face this way again. All we're gonna do is put our elbows down behind our wrist and then straighten the arms. So literally that's it. Just lowering and lifting. And see if you can do that a little bit slower so that it's like creeping pace. And there will be a moment where your triceps are like, oh God, I can't do it. But then sure enough, they can do it. And you made it down, and now you just push up again. So this is the same as going from down dog to forearm dog. Just that now you're not holding as much weight because your knees are on the ground. So let's try it from plank with straight legs if you can. From here into forearm dog. So you're going to press your heels back, your butt up, and you'll gently lower to your forearms. And it's a slow process. Return to plank by squeezing the elbows in, pushing yourself forward with the toes and ankles, and just do it another time or two. The slower you do it, the more you're going to know what muscles are working for you. So that later when you go to something like Pincha Mayurasana, it's already set. Because there's other things that you'll have to think about. In a Pincha Mayurasana, you can't really be worrying too much about are your fingers spread, are your legs strong. They have to already just be doing that. So let's meet in down dog B. Walk your feet in a little bit closer if you can. If it's too much in your shoulders, your feet will just go further back. At no point should your head be clunking into the floor. If your head clunks down, it means that you forgot to push down into the floor with your hands and forearms. Okay, straighten the arms, downward dog. And after your exhale, step or jump forward. Inhale when you get there. Notice your chest is forward of your feet. Exhale to fold. Bend into the knees. Utkatasana. Again, we're going to twist to the right and hook the left arm. Press the knee into the arm and step back. We're going to keep this lunge shape. We're just going to gently lower the left knee to the floor, the back knee to the floor. Feel free to stay like this, or left hand down, right hand back. Ooh, where's my foot? Back there somewhere. And then you can pull it in if you want. It's just kind of a fun way to twist. Just a little different. So if you have your back foot, you're going to let that go. You're going to return to prayer hands, lift the back knee, and unwind to a high lunge, arms up. And we'll inhale to straighten the front leg. Exhale to bend it again. Again, just like that. Inhale, straighten. Notice your right hip goes back. Exhale, bend the knee, but keep your right hip back. Don't let yourself turn open toward the side. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. And warrior two, we will actively turn open to the side. So adjust the feet so that you have your right heel angling straight to your left arch. And we're just going to hang out here. We're going to think of getting taller. Even though this front knee is bending deeply, if I bend it a lot, I sink. Even though it's bending about to 90 degrees, there's this feeling of up through the torso. From the pelvic floor, through the whole spine, out the top of the head. One more breath here. Ardha Chandrasana. So we'll lower the right fingers. I'm just going to back up to the camera, but you don't have to. Lower the right fingers and launch yourself onto that right leg. Left leg up. And when you can balance, try looking up and see the ceiling that's right above you. And you don't want to fall back, of course. So you need to push into the ball of your right foot more. You could also bend your right knee if you need. That does make it a little easier. We're just going to untwist. Top foot and we'll meet the bottom foot. Inhale there. And fold, exhale. Bend into the knees, Utkatasana. And we'll just do all of that on the other side. Hook your right arm outside of your left leg. Palms to prayer. Thumb is by the chest. And step your right foot back. And when you're there, bend the back knee to the floor, so it's like a twisted Asana. If you do want to put your right hand on the floor, there can't be a lot of space here between your armpit and your thigh. So you have to really take your time to get your arm very far over your leg. And then you can reach back. It's a hard grip to get. The foot feels very far away at first. Remember, in Asanas, you're bending your front leg a lot, so keep that action happening. We're all going to meet again in a twisted high lunge. So from wherever you went, return to that prayer. And untwist, reach up. And 3 times we move with breath. Inhale, straighten the left leg. Your hips are square. Exhale, bend the leg and try your best to keep your hips square. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. This time turn it into warrior 2. And adjust your feet however they need so that you have that proper alignment. Also, you need enough space between your feet. If I have my feet real close like this, if I bend this knee a lot, see how my knees now way far forward over the toes? That's gonna hurt over time. So big stance so that when you bend your leg deeply, this thigh bone horizontal, this shin bone vertical. And normally I don't like yoga with mirrors, but this is one of those poses that it could be helpful, or you could record yourself, that kind of thing. Or if you're in my class, I always yell at you, you know that. Okay, Ardha Chandrasana. Left fingers down, launch yourself up, chest forward. Stay there. So turning the gaze can be a very slow process because you want to make sure that your bottom foot is supporting you fully so that you don't fall backwards. It's much more fun to be slow in a pose than to rush into it and have a bad experience. Let's slowly untwist. Right foot meets left foot. Inhale. And let's fold, exhale. Halfway up again, inhale. And we'll just step into plank. And we'll stay there for a moment, catching the breath. Ooh, catch your breath in plank. That sounds crazy. But what if it was possible? So belly in. Don't let your hips sink because then you'll be trying to catch up and it's too hard. So just start well and stay well. Hips up. Okay, downward dog. Hips up and back. Press into your fingers so that your chest moves a little closer to your legs. And let's just reach the right leg up high. Inhale. Step 3/4 of the way to the hands. Exhale. We'll lower the back heel so that it lines up with the front heel. And just straighten the right leg as best you can. And just see where it goes. Hands to the hips, and we're going to stand up. And now the leg can get fully straight, even if it couldn't before. So right hand on right hip is going to pull back. Left hand on left hip is going to push forward so that we stay square. Inhale there, and just come halfway down. Exhale, so that your torso is more parallel to the floor, chest forward. And now you'll notice you have to work even harder to push that right hip back. Either stay there, hands on hips, or interlace your fingers behind the back. Knuckles away from you, and head down. And then it's a little harder to steer the hips, but that's sort of the point. If it was easy, it wouldn't keep your attention, and your mind would wander. And one of the reasons we come to the yoga mat is to give ourselves 90 minutes of focusing on something other than the neurotic track that we listen to in our own minds. Let's slowly release the hands down. Step into Asana, back foot a little further back and knee to the ground. Let's put the hands big toe side of the foot, turn the front foot out about 45 degrees, and drop the knee away from your shoulder. If your hip says okay, come to your forearms. And this is another thing about where are you in space. So your hands were back here. If you just lowered your forearms, this will happen with your butt and you end up in a totally different pose. So keep your chest reaching forward. That means your hands have to walk forward and your elbows will just be an inch or two in front of your shoulders. So it's comfy. Okay, three-legged downward dog. That right foot is just gonna lift up. Point the toes. Get both legs as straight as you can. And lower the foot, normal downward dog. And let's step the left foot about 3/4 of the way forward. Angle that right foot, the back foot, about 45 degrees and try to straighten your left leg. Some of you, it's no problem. Some of you, your hamstring says no way. Doesn't matter. Hands to the hips and stand up. It is what it is. Right hip forward, left hip back, and you work to make it so. Square the hips to the top of the mat. So there's a lot of rolling in with this right leg. There's a lot of traction in your feet together. Inhale, and fold just halfway down. Exhale. And now it's a little bit harder. So for me, I have to use my left hand more to pull that left hip back. Either stay like that or interlace, goofy finger on top so that you're evening yourself out. And we fold forward. So if your fingers are interlaced, you have no help bringing that left hip back. You just have to use your brain and tell the left foot to push down into the floor more. The more you push down, the more you're going to get that hip up and back. It's just willpower at this point. And concentration. Okay, we'll release the grip. Step into Asana, right knee down. Hands to the big toe side of the foot. Left foot will turn about 45 degrees, and the knee will just start to drop away. I'm just going to face the camera in case you've never seen that. That little meditation pillow. Okay. So the knee is just moving away from the shoulder, and if it moves very far away, even the inner edge of the foot will lift up. But the inner edge of the foot is lifting up only as a function of your hip. So there's no bending of your ankle. It's just the hip opening and the foot might reflect something there. A few more breaths. We'll return to the hands for three-legged downward dog. That left leg will just lift up to the ceiling. Stack the hip, point the toes. Then it feels like the feet are very far away from each other. And then just lower the foot, normal downward dog, shake out the head. Okay, heels up high, inhale. Bend the knees, exhale, and jump. Shoulders forward, chest forward, inhale. Exhale to fold. Bend into the knees, inhale. And we're just gonna interlace fingers on the right shin and pull the knee in toward us. We'll keep the left leg bent for now. And you're just in like a little rounded position, but it's pretty gentle. So those of us with back issues, this will probably feel pretty good right now. Stay for one more moment here and see if you can keep everything the same. Just slip your fingers away and reach up. And just push into your left foot and get that leg to straighten. Belly in, lining up ears, shoulders, hips. And extend into warrior three. So that right leg will reach back, the arms will reach forward as we tip over. If this strains you at all, just put hands on the hips or do something else with your arms. There's a million variations for your arms. Really what I want you to feel is like your belly button is lifting up and that you don't have too much back bend going on. The lower fingertips down. Lift the right leg up as high as you can for right now. We'll do another split-like thing later, so just see where you're starting at. And turn it into Ardha Chandrasana. Like you did before, we're just entering it from a different place. So that right arm up, right leg up. If you choose this time, hold your foot and kick. And even though you're kicking into a back bend, you want to keep drawing your belly in, almost like you're fighting the back bend. Like you're taking 2 steps into the back bend and 1 step out of the back bend. One more breath here. We'll slowly unravel. And let's just step back, lower the back knee. And again, we'll turn the toes out and have the hands inside of the foot. Same thing you did before, lower to the elbows if you can. Let the knee move away from your body. Then once you settle in, just basically to the same spot you were before, then just lift your back knee off the ground. And squeeze your feet toward each other. Your hips will rise a little bit. And it becomes a very strong pose. So the hip is stretching, but it's also working. Keep the belly drawing in. And we'll just step to a forearm plank. So your hips are already where they need to be. You just step that left foot to meet the right foot. And we'll walk the feet into forearm dog. Your butt will go up. Use your fingers to push your chest back. Otherwise, you end up with way too much weight in the hands. If you're not sure what I mean, have a little look at your monitor. If I'm here and my face is over my hands, it's just excruciatingly hard on the shoulders. So I push back. And then you'll open through the armpits. It's way easier. Okay, straighten the arms. Normal downward dog. After your exhale, step or jump forward. Inhale when you get there. Fold, exhale. Utkatasana. Knees bend, arms up. And we'll do all this on the other side. So the left knee will come up. We'll just interlace the fingers on the shin and just bend the elbows. So it's really easy to pull the knee in because your elbows are bending and your leg doesn't weigh that much. Your arms are strong enough so that your thigh connects with your chest. But then it starts to get real hard when we slip the hands away. So very slowly slip the hands away. Reach up. And push harder into your right foot so your leg straightens. And try to line up ears, shoulders, hips. Keep that alignment as you come into warrior three. It's just a sideways alignment, so it's hard to feel it. Ooh, falling out of it. So whatever you want to do with your arms, just trying to get all those joints on the same plane and the belly in so that you don't have a big back bend going on. You can even poke around just to the sides of your belly button to sort of help create that, maybe stretching the back a little more. Okay, standing split just briefly, fingers down, leg up. Into Ardha Chandrasana or Ardha Chandra Chapasana. You'll notice if you're holding your foot, you just have to exaggerate the standing foot a little more. If you're holding that top foot and kicking back, the standing foot needs to be even more weight on the ball of the foot. And that's why you have to move slow. Every inch you kick back, your standing foot needs to account for. Let's slowly unravel. Step back into your Asana. I have a tennis ball on my mat. That's fun. Lower the back knee, turn the front foot out 45 degrees. Let the knee drop open. Might be a little bit, might be a lot. Come to the forearms if you can. And then lift the back knee. And as you lift the back knee, squeeze the feet toward each other. I like to drop the head here and stare at that back leg, because often I think it's straight. And then I take a peek at it, and it turns out it looks like a banana. And it was dippy, because I have tendencies toward laziness sometimes. So if you monitor it with your eyes, it can help. Okay, let's step to forearm plank. Start to walk your feet in, butt up. And every inch you bring your feet in, you need to compensate with your hands and push your chest back. You can't just move from one side and have no reaction in the other side. It's all connected. Maybe one more inch, feet in. One more ounce of energy pushing fingers down. Let's straighten the arms, downward dog. And after your exhale, step or jump forward. Inhale there. And fold, exhale. We'll just rise up to standing. You can bend your knees and roll up. You can do whatever you want. Just somehow get to stand. And we're stepping back with the right foot. We're going to pivot just like we would in an Ashtanga situation. Triangle pose over the right leg. So we just stepped back and pivoted. Left arm up. No problem, right? I made you guys do something gnarly in your triangle poses on Friday. I hope you've forgiven me. Let's rise up on an inhale, and we're just gonna pivot over to the other side. Reach out as far as you can, and as the left hand comes down, the right hand goes up. So normally there is like an equal opposite situation. One thing goes back, the other thing goes forward. However, in this pose, your top shoulder is going back. You need your bottom shoulder also to go back. So just try rolling them both together. Next inhale, we'll just rise up. Pivot so the left foot faces the same way as the right, hands to the hips, inhale. And we're just gonna fold and keep the hands on the hips. So you have your fingers sort of in the front side of your belly. Poke them in to your belly. And use that to help stretch the back a little bit. And let's rise up for an inhale. We're just going to turn the heels in, toes out, hands to the knees, and lean forward. Push the knees back. If this is too easy for you, it's kind of a lazy pose, but it is a good hip opener, even though it doesn't take a lot of strength. But if it's not enough hip opener, hands to ankles, elbows to knees, and then it's just more. Belly in, 2 more breaths. And slide your hands to your knees again so your shoulders can come over your hips, and just stand. Warrior 2, facing the right leg. You've been here before, so adjust your stance as needed so that you have this approaching 90 degrees. Your hip might not do that. Right forearm to thigh, Left hand behind the back. So we're gonna roll his left shoulder forward so the palm faces back, and then it can come to the thigh. And if that's comfy for you, place your right hand, big toe side of the foot. You're gonna feel like your left hand is stuck between your torso and your leg. It is stuck there. There's not a lot of space for it to move around. But just keep scooping your right hip under. Take one more breath. We're gonna keep that grip on the thigh. We're just gonna walk the right hand to the left foot and pivot the right foot so it faces the long edge of the mat. We end up in a twisted variation of a prasarita stance. One of the hard things about this pose is squaring the hips. We're twisted, we're upside down, we really have no idea what's happening up there. Let's just try pressing harder into the left foot. Then slowly unravel. Hands will come down under the shoulders. You can either repeat this thing that we did before, or you're going to take it down to the floor for froggy pose, which is really hellacious for me. So some of you, you're going to get your pubic bone right to the floor. Oh lordy. Okay, so we're just going to try to breathe here. Another way, if you want it to go deeper, is instead of having two knees on your mat, have one knee on a blanket off your mat, and it will then slide you into a deeper position. For me, this is plenty deep right here. I don't want to go any further. So there is this element of we're letting the knees slide apart, but we have to control it. We can't just willy-nilly let them go. So push your knees down and still squeeze them in so that you know when you're sliding out. There's no accidental, oops, I went too far. You're always in control of it. Oh lordy, okay. If you're ever in Susan's class, request this pose. She loves it. Okay, so we'll come up again. Oh, and stand on the feet. Warrior two, other way. Left knee bends. So first step is always, what are your feet doing? Or whatever's on the ground, make sure it's behaving first. Then bring your left arm to the leg. Right shoulder has to roll forward so that you can get your fingers back there. And then maybe this is enough for your hip, otherwise hand down. And we're trying to lean back with that right shoulder. Okay, so the fingers are gripping pretty good on that thigh, so we can pivot around without losing it. Left hand can be wherever you need it to be. Some of you, it's going to be on your right ankle. So your left arm is in essence pulling you into the twist, and that right arm is revolving you open a little more. Press a little more into that right foot. And we'll slowly unravel. Samakhanasana. So if you prefer, you can repeat either goddess pose or froggy pose. Samakhanasana is just kind of the next evolution of it, which in many ways, this pose is more humane than the previous. So you're trying to get your legs in a straight line. You can keep your feet where they are and just inch your pelvis forward more. There will be a point where it will go no further. Just stay there. Okay, pigeon facing the right leg. So we're just going to lean back enough to bend the right knee. And then use your hands to help pick you up and over. Square yourself to the top edge of that mat. And you decide where your right foot is in relation to your hip. I used to think that it was crazy when teachers would say, make your shin parallel to the top of your mat. I just didn't see how that was possible. And then after like a decade of Ashtanga, it became possible. But the foot can also be very close to your left hip or anywhere in between. So we'll just stay here for a moment and try to stretch through both hips. So you're getting that, the right outer hip by the glute, and then this left front hip flexor area. Okay, we'll turn it into Hanuman. Rock to the right hip again, straighten the leg, and use the hands to bring you up and over. The hands can steer you the whole time. You can also wedge something under your right thigh if you want, or you can have your left knee real close to you. So if you walk the knee in like this, then it's a little friendlier. That's an option. It still is considered a Hanumanasana. Okay, we're going to come through center. And instead of going down, we're going to come up this time. I have to move this tennis ball out of the way. Okay, we're going to come up to a Prasarita stance again. So feet are close enough that you can feel weight on them. Hands to hips, inhale, rise up. We'll do the other side in a sec. Arms out, inhale. And let's reach behind us, interlace the fingers. Inhale, arms straight. And exhale, fold forward. You can keep your palms together or let them separate. Each inhale, think about your knuckles moving away from you. And each exhale, let them move down toward the floor. So there's two actions happening, away and down. And we'll slowly release the grip, hands down to the floor, and walk over into your Samakhanasana. Legs out. Spin on the heels so that the toes and kneecaps face up. It's just a little easier that way. Then walk the hands back towards your legs so your forearms touch your inner thighs. And you can stay up like that. You'll have a better shot at being 180 degrees if you're up like this. You can also put a block under your butt. Or you can lower down and just deal with the fact that it's not quite 180 degrees. I like to do some wrist stretches here. The arms are not really necessary for anything else, so you might as well. Okay, pigeon facing the left leg. So you can roll to that outer hip in order to bend the knee, and then just square yourself. And do not rush the action of getting your foot further forward for that shin bone parallel nonsense. It will just end up with a torqued knee. So keep your foot in close, and this is true for pretty much any pose. Keep your foot close to your hip, or keep your pose easy until it's boring. And when it's boring, you're going to be curious, what happens if I go there? And then it will be exciting for a few months. And then it will get boring again. And then you move it forward more. And you just keep inching your way into a deeper pose. But it's never a rush. It's just when you feel like you want to see what's around the corner. Okay, Hanuman we go. Rock over, get that shin bone out of the way, and come forward again. Some people tuck their toes, some people don't for that back foot. I like to tuck them, especially on my tighter side, because then it more resembles a lunge position. And in a lunge, you're very used to the idea of pushing down into your foot to get that hip forward. Same thing has to happen in splits. So it's not just a flexibility pose, you're controlling where your hips are facing, you're controlling how close to the floor you get. Okay, let's come around again to that Prasarita stance. Feet in close enough that you have control over your legs so that it's not scary. Hands to the hips, and we're going to rise up. If you can, take reverse prayer. So there's two ways in that I see a lot. Knuckles touch, then flip around to the pinky side of your hand. Or some people will join their fingers down by the butt and slide it up. If that doesn't work, either way, just take opposite elbows. So once you're set, chest up, inhale, and fold forward, exhale. So you're going to just keep reaching your elbows toward each other, whether or not you're in that prayer position. And visualize your chest going through your legs. Two more breaths. Try not to have all your weight in the heels. Be just a little bit brave and center your weight on your foot. You're going to get your head closer to the ground that way. Let's come up for an inhale. Just unravel the arms and step forward. Okay, reach up, inhale. Fold forward, exhale. Halfway up, inhale. To chaturanga, exhale. Upward facing, inhale. Downward facing, exhale. Right knee between the hands. Gomukhasana. The left leg is going to come underneath. And John, you're going to sit on a block or do pigeon again. Those of you who can, you're going to bring your feet together. I'm just facing this way so that you can see, but you'd still just face the front of your mat. So your feet are pretty close and they're facing the same direction. So it's not like one toes are that way and the other is the other. They're both going to be in. And when you can, your left arm is going to go under and to your shoulder blades. The knuckles are touching your body, your palm is facing out. And your right elbow is going to face forward and then up so that you can link your fingers. You're going to press head into arm. Take 1 or 2 more breaths here. Belly in. And slowly unravel and just step back to downward dog. And we'll try the other side. Left knee centers. Right leg scoots under, and you got to cross it really close. So I even swing the leg out to the left in order to get that little pooch of fat at the top of the thigh crossed over the other pooch of fat. Because that is you have to deal with it. Otherwise your legs won't be tight enough together and it won't be so stable. So once you can, right arm, you're going to roll the shoulder forward so that your knuckles can come between your shoulder blades. The left arm, just like you were going into like a king pigeon type of thing, the elbows close to you and then forward and then up. Press the head back. You can use a strap if you can't link your fingers. Usually when I can't get a bind, I just hold my clothes because I get tangled up sometimes in the strap, but whatever works for you. And we'll slowly get out of there and meet in downward dog. Take your time. If you need a vinyasa, do that, or if you just want one, do that. And from down dog, let's jump or step forward and stand up in any way that suits you. Depends on your back, depends on your hamstrings. Okay, eagle pose. So we're just going to bring the right leg up and over the left as tightly crossed as you can. If it's very tight, you're going to get your foot behind your ankle. Right arm over left, palms together, elbows up. And lean back just a little bit so that you feel like your shoulders are over your hips. And just see how that goes. Then we'll start to lean forward and we're going to bring our elbows toward our belly button so that we're rounded. And just see how that goes. And notice how slowly you had to move to keep your balance, because that left foot has to adjust a lot. We'll come up again very slowly, shoulders over hips. Again, that foot is working for you. And then unravel, 2 feet down, reach up, inhale. Ooh, Lordy, and release the arms, shake it out. So that was a lot of fancy stuff, but really the standing leg is where you should feel most of the work. Okay, left leg up and over. Take your time, you might even want to hold a wall. Get as high crossed as you can. Foot behind ankle if you can. Right arm under. Is that what? Whichever feels weird, do that one. So practice leaning back, just a conscious effort to put shoulders over hips. Then practice leaning forward, elbows in, so your back is rounded. And practice coming up again. Go slow. Squeeze the limbs together. And when you're ready, slowly get out of there. Straighten the arms and legs up and down. And fold, exhale. Halfway up, inhale. And step or jump chaturanga, exhale. Upward facing, inhale. Downward facing, exhale. We're going to jump through to sitting. So instead of your feet landing between your hands, your butt is going to land. So I usually back up my hands a little bit so that I land sort of on the mat. Bend the knees and launch. Land when you decide instead of just when it accidentally happens. Okay, Dandasana just for a moment. Legs straight. For now, let's do knuckles down. This is not the traditional Dandasana position, but it's nice for the wrists. So chest up, chin down, belly in, legs strong, feet flexed. There's a lot happening. It just looks really simple. Okay, so right leg, Janushrasana A, sole of foot to left thigh. Normally now you're just facing this diagonal, so you have to make an effort to twist, face your left leg, and reach for your foot. Inhale. Exhale, twist a little bit more as you fold. Inhale, lengthen your chest toward your ankle, and exhale, twist and fold a little bit more. So each breath is serving you and moving you a little bit. The pose is never just stationary. It's never really finished. Okay, and slowly rise up. We're going to bring this right knee in so that the foot is just outside the left hip. And cross that left leg over the right knee and hug into a twist. Ardha Matsyendrasana. If the hug feels good for you, twist into a bind, or not a bind fully, but hook your arm and then you're going to reach down for the left foot. It's hard to know which foot it is, left or right, because it's over there. So just like your twist earlier, the first step is the most important. So where is your arm connecting to your leg? If it's connecting close to your elbow, that's okay. You just will have no shot at grabbing your foot. So just know that that's where you're going to stay. If you want to hold your foot, you have to cross further over. Okay, slowly unravel from there. Double pigeon. So we'll just unfold the legs a bit, sort of let them collapse into this little origami shape. Left leg on top, chest to shin. Arms wherever you want. Keep flexing the feet. So you want to feel this mostly in your hips. You don't want to feel anything in your knees or ankles. You might feel something in your back. If you're tight, these erector muscles are going to feel it even here. Okay, we'll rise up. Vinyasa. Cross the shins. Lean forward. Lift your butt. Slide your feet through. Lean your shoulders forward. And then step back. Exhale to chaturanga. Cycle through at your own pace. Oops. So jumping forward is easier than jumping back. So keep focusing on that if you're working on this aspect. Keep your knees bent in as you jump and stay here for a moment with your butt up and your knees bent. Then extend and lower down. And just practice pausing in that spot. Okay, left leg, Janushrasana. Sole of foot to thigh. Twist. So you face the right leg and reach for the foot. Inhale and fold, exhale. If the foot is too far away, just bend your knee a little bit. And then there it is, right there waiting for you. This is another example of over time, you'll just be curious what happens when the leg straightens more. And it will cooperate eventually. Okay, we'll rise up for Ardha Matsyendrasana. So the left leg will come in, right foot will plunk down. If you have any knee pain in that left leg, just straighten the leg, not a big deal. And we twist to the right. Either hug your knee to your shoulder or hook your arm. And if you're hooking your arm, there's a lot of strength pushing back, as if you're trying to get your knee over to that left wall. And if it's all working out, you'll grab the foot, inner edge. For a long time, I felt like my elbow was going to snap apart. So if you're feeling that at all, you're just going to think about bending your elbow. It's not actually going to bend enough. Like right now, I'm thinking about bending it. Doesn't look any different, but it sure feels different. So you don't want to let it feel like it's going to snap. Do something to help feel good. Unravel and come into double pigeon. So that left shin will just come forward a little bit so that we can have mostly an equilateral triangle. And lean forward. Okay, so we'll rise up and vinyasa. Cross the shins, lean forward, and if you just practice lifting your butt, that's a big deal. So maybe you lift your butt and your feet came down again. That's fine, then just walk them through. And over time, they're gonna lift more. And we'll just meet in downward dog. Okay. So Pincha Mayurasana number 1. We're gonna do this a few times in a few ways. Those of you who know it, just go up into it and stay for a long time. It's good practice to just stay there. Other folks, so I want you to take everything with you. So this is what tends to happen. Have a little look-see. Here I am in down dog B, and I let this part, unfortunately, this is what not to do, this part gets real wiggly, so when people kick, they do something like this. And now it's just a back bend situation, and it's messy. And you'll never get up that way, and it wastes a lot of energy. So we're gonna try to think of hips and shoulders moving together. We're gonna start in down dog B, and we're just gonna let one leg lift up and the other knee bend in. Just this, just do this, nothing more. And those of you who are comfortable doing that, try it on the other leg. All of a sudden, you'll be uncomfortable. So we're just letting the belly participate by bringing that second knee in. And let's take a rest in child's pose with the palms facing up and the pinky edge of the hand touching the other pinky edge of the hand. All of a sudden, child's pose will be not that relaxing because it's very shouldery. Thumbs down. They're not actually going to touch the floor, but just think thumbs down. Okay, downward dog. And let's jump through to sitting. Remember to keep your knees close to you so that you can pause here with your butt off the ground and then lower down. Okay, so we'll go into Pincha a few times, but that was actually kind of exhausting. And it's harder to do what we just did than to just go up and stay. But you need to kind of get over that, that difficulty. Okay, right ankle to lower left thigh, left foot down, chest to shin. So your back is rounded here. We're gonna keep it that way and either keep your hands there or reach around. So Pincha Mayurasana is a back bend, but where we get into trouble sometimes is that we go too much too soon. So you want to minimize the wiggleness of your back
Those of you who are flexible naturally, you're gonna have more issues than the stiff people getting into Pincha Mayurasana. Okay, right heel to belly button, right leg into half lotus, right arm behind the back, inhale, and fold, exhale. Some variations would be repeating what we did before, foot to thigh, or a number 4 pose. Those of you who can't quite get the bind, I'm going to show you from this other view. You're going to have your left hand come to your foot instead of your right hand, and your right hand can go hold your elbow. As you get bored there, it's going to be a little winch, and you're going to pull it out to the side, and it's going to walk your hand down your forearm until eventually there you are on your foot. Okay, let's slowly rise up. And let's change sides. Left ankle to lower right thigh. Just lean back. And then walk it in. So as close as you can, your heel to your butt. As close as you can, your chest to your shin. And wrap around. If your hip is tight, you're going to feel like you're really fighting hard to not fall backwards. That's good for you. It's good to feel sometimes like you have to fight to stay up. Then you're thinking only about that. Okay, so this is the prep for half lotus. You could stay like that or do whichever other thing you did. If you're going half lotus, heel to belly button first is a great way to make sure that your foot is high enough on your right leg. Then you have 2 inches of toes dangling over. And you reach around. Or you reach for your elbow and walk your hand down your forearm. A few breaths in your fold. If you're in Janushirasana, your knee is out to the side, 90 degrees. If you're in half lotus, it's like a 40 degrees out to the sides. Knees are pulling in toward each other. Okay, and let's rise up and vinyasa. Cross the shins, lift your butt, your feet come down or they don't, and you walk them through. Vinyasa. Okay, Pincha Mayurasana again. So we're going to do the same thing. I don't want you falling over. I'm going to show you what happens if I fall in handstand. So I'm going to purposefully fall out of my handstand. I'm going to kick up and see how I can cartwheel out. If you do that in Pincha, you will really hurt your shoulders. You do not want to cartwheel out of Pincha. Therefore, stay on your mat, go very conservatively, lift one leg up, give yourself a little push with the bottom leg, and just keep the bottom knee bent in close to your body. Even if you're finding the balance. Try the other leg if you can. If you're new to this, don't bother trying the second leg. And let's pause in child's pose with our forearms up, hands in prayer. And let's turn this into Anahatasana. So you can walk either elbows forward or knees back and drop your chest to the floor. So some people, the limiting factor for Pincha Mayurasana is shoulder flexibility. Some of us, it's strength. But for a lot of us, it's really just practicing the slowness of lifting up. If we've gotten used to kicking to a wall, we won't have the strength to do it without the wall. Okay, let's rise up. So we'll try one more Pincha for now, and then we'll take another little detour away. So either repeat and just stay as what we were doing,
Or some of you are gonna bring your legs together and you're gonna look between your thumbs or between your wrists, wherever is comfortable for your degree of back bend. Those of you who are up, you're gonna just start bending your knees and lower to child's pose. Take a breath, and we'll meet in downward dog. Okay, jump through to sitting. Remember to try to keep your knees high so that your feet don't drag on the ground. Your butt will stay up until you tell it otherwise. Okay, let's bring that right leg in again. This time the left leg will just stay straight, chest to shin. And we're gonna lay back. So you can keep your relationship with your leg, or you can release, lay back, and then take it again. So we're just in a pigeon, but laying down. Reach for your big toe, first two fingers and thumbs, and extend your right leg up, left hand to the thigh. We'll do a little sit up, and we'll try to bring our shin bone to the head. Some of that is abs, some of it is flexibility, some of it is the strength of your right arm pulling down. And lower your head and shoulders, open the leg out to the side, and try not to fall to the right. So pretend you're in a standing pose. Your left leg, it can't move. It has to be exactly how it was. Leg up again. Just release it. And I have now an occupant on my mat, so I guess I will just move over a little bit to a diagonal. Let's lower that right leg and roll up to sitting. Of course, why would I move her? Let me just move myself over. Okay, left leg, baby cradle. We're going to try to roll that shoulder back, chest to shin, and slowly roll down. We may or may not need assistance from the hands. Okay, big toe grip, first two fingers and thumbs. Reach the left foot as high as you can. Push the ball of your foot up. And do a little sit up, head toward shin. So part of a pincha entrance does rely on the flexibility of your hamstrings. But if you have tight hamstrings, you can still do it. Let's lower head and shoulders, open the leg out to the side. Push your right leg into the floor. And we'll lift the leg up again. Release the grip, lower the leg, inhale, and let's roll up very slowly. And eventually you get there. We're gonna let the knees bend sort of this much. It's an inexact science. So you're just gonna lean back a little bit and touch your knees with your fingers. Stare at your belly and try to draw it in, so that instead of a mountain of abdominal muscles, you see more of a hollow thing. Right now I see a little muffin top because I ate a lot of cookie dough yesterday. Let's slowly lower down to the shoulder blades. When you get there, inhale, arms overhead, and then roll up again so that you can touch your fingers to your knees. And one more time, going down, inhale, and then coming up, touching the knees, rounding the back. Okay, cross the shins, vinyasa. So keep your knees up as you lift your butt, and then slide it through. Okay, Pincha Mayurasana. So you can repeat the way we've been practicing it. Those of you who have things in your house very close to your mat, it's actually good because then you're going to be conservative.
At no point should you fling yourself up. So let's meet up there. Go with either your difficult leg or your easy leg, you choose. And just be very slow. As soon as your second leg comes off the ground, you have to plug that hip into the socket. Those of you who are up there, practice bending knees in, however much, and then lift them up again. And we'll meet in down dog A, straight arms. So once you get your feet down again, just re-straighten. Let's rock forward to plank and lower down to the belly. What am I going to do about this little thing? Her butt is so cute, I don't want to move it. I'm going to face this way. Okay, so we'll lower to the belly, Shavasana A. Arms by our sides, lift the chest and shoulders up, lift the legs up, and just memorize the body shape that you're in right now. This is your Pincha Mayurasana body shape. There is a back bend. Press into your knuckles, inhale, and come down, exhale. Hands under the shoulders, inhale, upward facing, and exhale, downward facing. Oh, okay, rock forward again, inhale. Exhale, come on down to the belly. B position. So from your chaturanga hands, you would just slide them back a few more inches. Lift the chest and shoulders up, and come up a little bit higher. Either stay here, or for fun, bend the knees and take cactus arms. So you look like you are skydiving. And try to lift everything a little bit higher, including your elbows and your knuckles. Okay, come on down, hands under the shoulders. Upward facing, inhale. Downward facing, exhale. Okay, so you might have a different relationship with Pincha now that we've just done back bends. So, those of you who are still working that entrance, do that 1,000,000 times until it's easy. Those of you who that was easy, 2 legs at once. Hopefully I don't kill this little cat. Sometimes it doesn't go as planned. So those of you who are jumping into it, go slow. And regardless of how you got there, we meet in something Pincha-like. We'll meet in normal downward dog, so take your time. Belly in. Maybe you can stare at your belly button. And let's come to Anjaneyasana, right leg in front. Back knee down, left knee down. And just stay here. So I probably tried Pincha for about 12 years before I actually could balance. And the day that I got the balance was a very normal day. Just somehow it worked. Okay, so you're either going to stay like that and play with Anjaneyasanas with your back leg bending, or you're going to come have a seat. So if your knee can't do this, you're going to stay here and try to hold that foot and pull it in. Otherwise, you're sitting in Virasana, Ekapada Virasana, and you're going to lay back. And as you go back, you're going to lift your hips and tuck your tailbone. Every inch you go back, you have to re-tuck your tailbone because it needs to respond. Otherwise, you end up with this crazy arch in your back and no stretch in your thigh. If this is easy for you, you're going to pull your right knee into your chest. If this is hard for you, you might want to put your foot on your left knee and try to get your left knee closer to the floor. Some of you probably are needing more than right knee to chest. You can hold your toes and extend the leg up. If I do that, my left knee pops up. So I don't take that variation, but that's another way. Okay, lengthen the right leg out along the mat again. And we'll just rise up from whence we came. And let's all meet in Asana again. No problem. Three-legged downward dog. So we'll just lift the left knee, lift the right leg. Stack the right hip. Get the leg as high as you can. And then keep your leg high, but square the hip. The leg will not stay as high, but just think about it. Now plug the leg into the socket. So you're not just reaching out, you're also pulling into you. And just try that one more time. Leg up as high as you can. There will be a little bit of an emphasis on reaching up. And square the hips. And it's like you're pulling in. You'll feel like your hip settles a little bit more. And just lower the right leg down. Step the left foot forward. Oh, I kicked myself in the wrist. That was funny. That happens sometimes. Okay, so you're either staying here and playing with that back leg so that you can stretch the right hip flexors, or you come to Pincha Mayurasana. And every inch you go back, you tuck your tailbone under. And if you look at your right knee, you're going to see that the inside edge of your right knee lifts up toward the ceiling as you tuck your tailbone under. You can come all the way to the shoulders and then decide what does your left knee need to do to help you in this pose. You can have it stay where it was, sole of the foot to the floor, foot to the right leg so that the knee goes down, or left knee to the chest. You can also invent things. I only named 4 things, but there are many. So this is my tight side. I like to reach the right arm over the ear, and then it feels like this crazy sensation all the way from the knee to basically my right elbow. So find a way that suits you, that you have a little moment of, oh, that's cool, or that's weird. And we'll very slowly make our way back again. Left leg straightens. We rise up with the help of the hands. We return to Asana. That right leg eventually straightens for a three-legged dog, left leg up. So when we're entering Pincha, we do have this conundrum of, do we stack the hip or do we square the hip? So let's practice squaring the hip. Plug the leg into the socket. And one more time, lift it up. So the answer is the hip is up and unsquared for as little as possible. Let's re-square, plug the leg in, keep trying to lift it up, and let's lower the left foot down. Downward dog. So we'll enter Pincha again. The top leg is going to reach as far over as it can until you feel like you know where your hips are. Let's come to down dog B. And once that second leg is off the ground and you know where your hips are, you're going to square yourself and plug your legs into the sockets. So left leg up or right leg up, whichever you choose. And then as soon as that second leg is up and you feel like you know where your hips are, then you can start to bring your legs up. But where are your hips in relation to your shoulders? The legs could be doing any number of things, but you have to know where your hips are. Let's meet in down dog. Straighten the arms.
And let's come through to sitting. Keep your butt up as long as possible. And then you sit. Let me just check the clock. Oh my God. I need another hour. Okay, we're gonna lay back. We're gonna try to hold the ankles and lift the hips. If it's too far away, don't bother. Just let them be kind of close. Shoulders underneath you. And slowly come down to the sitting bones. Just see how that feels. So the upper back would still be bent into a back bend. Come up again, inhale. So there's a few schools of thought about how you lower from a back bend. There's the idea that you go one vertebrae at a time. Or there's this other idea where you go sitting bones down. And let's just see what that feels like, sitting bones down. Some of you are used to it, some of you maybe not. Pincha Mayurasana, so you're pretty much still in your back bend. Hands down, elbows in, straighten the arms. Slowly come on down, rotate the shoulders as you lower so that your elbows are always accounted for. And let's lift up one more time. Any variation of back bend that you want. The one I would suggest to you is bring your right knee to the chest and then extend the leg up. Because we've been doing a lot of things with extension of legs. If you've done one side, then do the other. Make sure you're even, and then come on down. Whenever you end up on your back again, we'll just bring the knees into the chest. Hold the kneecaps. And on your inhale, push your knees away. Exhale, pull them in. And again, inhale. Exhale. Last time. Okay, drop your knees to the left. Open up the arms. If you can, hold your right foot with your left hand and kick. Get your legs straight. That right hip needs to move away from your armpit. So you could either just send a message with your brain to the hip, or you can use your right hand and actually push it away. It's a common adjustment that I've at some point probably done to those of you who I have practiced with in person. But it's easy to do by yourself also. Let's get out of that side very slowly, one leg at a time, and head over to the other side. If you can't hold your foot, it's no big deal. You can also hold your knee. Holding the foot is just a nice hamstring, outer glute kind of thing. And somehow get your left hip to move away from your armpit. We'll come back through center, bend one leg at a time in. Rock and roll until you can sit up for a forward bend, Paschimottanasana. Sometimes after back bends, this doesn't feel that great for me. So instead, I stand on my feet, put the hands under the feet, and fold from here, Parahastasana. For me, the bandha activation is just a little more easy from this standing place. And you need that Uddiyana Bandha to serve you after back bends so that you don't feel stiff. So take whatever last pose you need before Shavasana, and we will meet in Shavasana because, man, time goes quick.
We're gonna end up a few minutes late. If you find that halfway through your Shavasana, something is hurting you, just change your position. Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat Let's take a few more breaths. And bring your knees to your chest. Roll over to the right. Very slowly sit up. Keep the eyes closed. Doesn't matter what direction you're facing. We'll bring the hands together. Inhale. Let's take one Om. Namaste.